Hey everybody, today on the Comic Book Teacher, we have a lot of fire, epic poetry, and a galaxy far, far away. So every week I'm going to be bringing you 5 reviews, right? You got a work of nonfiction graphic novel, we have an ongoing series, a new series that dropped this week, we have a nonfiction series, and then finally one just for you. And I'm going to start with that one today, the one just for you. So as we move into more quarantine and more time being alone, many of us are missing vacation and many of us are missing Disney. So I kind of wanted to do the one for you, the Star Wars Galaxy's Edge series. There were only 5 of them. I got all 5. It kind of was released with Galaxy's Edge opening in Disney World and Disneyland. These 5 issues were to kind of just let people become more familiar with the world of Galaxy's Edge in Disney. They take place there. A lot of the characters that exist in the Star Wars land in Disney exist in these books. They're really fun. They kind of give you a nod to some of the locations you're going to be able to go to in Disney once you get there. If you are a Disney fan and a Star Wars fan and you're kind of missing traveling, I would check out the Galaxy's Edge books. I'm pretty sure these came out probably about a year ago now. I'm pretty sure they're collected into a trade if you wanted to find that. All right, the one for your classroom. This one, Beowulf by Gareth Hines, published by Candlewick Press. This is a book that I've used forever in my classroom. This copy is pretty beat up because this is my personal copy and I use it all the time when I teach this book. I actually wrote part of my master's thesis on using graphic novels in the classroom on this book. You can find that on my website. I actually have a website. It is theothercomicbookteacher.com. I have a lot of classroom resources, tons and tons of book reviews there that you can read if this isn't enough for you. So check this one out. It is epic poetry at its finest. Gareth Hines is amazing. He's very available and open to talking with classrooms as well. So if you use any of his books, and I'm sure I'm going to be covering a lot of Gareth Hines in this YouTube channel, check it out. This book is fantastic. It is a work of literary art and my students always love it. All right, that's your classroom book. The one for nonfiction today. This book just came out this week, all right? It is from First Second Books, and it is their history comic series, and it's called The Great Chicago Fire. That is writer Kate Hennigan, and the artist is Alex Groundis. This book is really cool. It's written for younger grades, but you will learn a lot about Chicago and the Chicago Fire. I am from Chicago. I'm in the area, so this book kind of taught me a lot about Chicago history. For those of you that don't know, the Chicago flag has 4 stars, one of which is from the Great Chicago Fire, so we never forget our city's storied past. This is a fantastic book, chocked with great history lessons all throughout, centered around the story of this family who is escaping from the Chicago Fire as it is happening and how they deal with that while interweaving lots of history, mostly from the city of Chicago in here. But if any of you are American history fans and want to learn more about Chicago, this is a great graphic novel to do that. I would suggest picking this one up. First, Second Books. All right. Ongoing. Now, I wanted to do something a little different for this one because ongoing series, I have a few I wanted to talk about, but as I was at the comic book store this week, I noticed this was new this week, all right? So this is a new graphic novel by Robert Kirkman, right? Walking Dead, and Chris Samney, who's an amazing artist. And apparently this is a prelude to a series that's going to be coming out called Firepower. It's not ridiculously original in its inception, right? So it's about this guy who travels to this distant shrine to figure out where his family came from and to learn the ancient arts for reasons that we figure out. You know, he just shows up there with a photograph of his family. He meets the master of the shrine, and then it kind of goes from there. We have some of the trope characters. You know, he has the person at the shrine that becomes his nemesis, and he has his close friend there, and the teacher is kind of this cool guy who is kind of no nonsense as well. But for some reason, the storyline and the way that it's written is pretty awesome. I really dig the characters. This old sensei guy here is obsessed with like Jordans, and he's buying all sorts of new Jordans in different colorways. And if you're a sneakerhead like me, I immediately appreciated that. He also loves bubblegum and taking people's electronic equipment like iPods. So it's a really great book. I don't know when the single issues are going to start hitting shelves, but when they do, it will be on my pull list at the local comic book store. Firepower, it is by Skybound, Image Comics. If you are interested, Image does this cool thing where like their initial trades are like $9.99. So this is probably about like $15 worth of trade. You get it for $10. I would check this one out. Firepower was, if you like those sorts of stories, like Kung Fu type stories and people finding themselves, this is a good one. Check this one out, Firepower, Image Comics. Last one I'm going to talk about. So this is All America Comics. This one's from Joe Casey and Dustin Nguyen. I opened it immediately and was like, this is very reminiscent of a Marvel comic. The characters in this book are very much like characters that exist in the Marvel universe. This is an Image comic. What's going on here? So then I found out that this book was kind of thought up about 3 years ago, and there were all sorts of, I didn't read the full history on it, right? I got a lot going on here. So for those of you who know the history of this book and these characters and these creators and have seen posters for this comic and this character that was supposed to come out in 2017, you know that story, then you know this has been like highly anticipated. It's okay for me. I mean, I felt like it is kind of like it is telling Marvel character stories in a way that's probably not copywritten and suable. I don't know. It was interesting. I don't need to be getting, I think it's a one shot. I don't think there's going to be any more. Maybe this is just something they had on the books for a couple years. They wanted to get out there, finally had some of the stuff done. And if they tell more of the story, cool. It's kind of neat. It's soaked in like teenage colloquialisms and the hashtags and the way that she speaks. It's all right. It's all right. Not much came out this week. It was a really slow week for new comics at the comic book shop. If you did not know that, Marvel DC did not put anything out this week. I probably would have grabbed one of those. So just reviewing, I hope you dug these this week. We had All America Comics from Image Comics here, right? Image, yes, I was right. All right, we have Skybound Image with Firepower, new series by Kirkman and Samney, which is going to, I hope, be an amazing ongoing series. The Great Chicago Fire from First Second Books is your nonfiction book this week. Younger grades will eat this up, especially if you are from the Chicagoland area. Beowulf, Gareth Hines, this is your pick for your classroom. If you do not yet have this on your classroom shelf, go pick it up. Fantastic book. You will not regret it. And then finally, the pick for you today, especially those of us that are missing travel and missing Disney, is the Star Wars Marvel Comics Galaxy's Edge series. This is a fantastic book to get you a little bit of Disney when you probably can't get there right now yourself. So once again, I'm the comics teacher. The website was theothercomicbookteacher.com, and you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at comics_teacher. Have a great 4th of July weekend, everybody, and I will see you next week.